Hey guys, it's Carl Brown from GuitarLessons365.com. Got a fun one today. We're going to learn how to do Breaking the Chains by Dokken. And George Lynch's one of my favorite players, so it's always really fun to kind of dive into his solos. It's always got so many cool licks in it. So we're going to take a look at the whole song, and including George's awesome solo as well. Before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and ring that notification bell so you know it's a new video. You can kind of like and comment the videos, help me with this whole YouTube game. If you actually really want to support what I do here on YouTube or anywhere on the web, the best way to do it is actually join my Guitar Academy. It's kind of my online guitar school, and you'll see a link to it in the description below. That link will actually give you a free 7-day trial as well. Now, my academy contains all of my guitar courses, covering everything from complete beginner courses to more advanced courses in technique, improvisation, ear training, and theory. You get full access to all of it just by being a member. I go live once a week with just academy members, so kind of a live video chat with me, so you can ask me any questions that you have throughout the week. And you also get personalized support beyond that. You can just email me anytime you have any questions at all. All right, so I hope to see you there. Let's jump into the lesson. I'm in standard tuning here. And we're going to start here with this. It's really kind of the main riff of the song, which is pretty close to pretty much the verse as well. Looks like this. And there's like a little octave melody that comes in over it. So we're going to start here. We're playing this power chord off the 7th fret of the A string. Now I'm obviously using my pinky up here. It's comfortable for me to do it like that. You can do it like that, you can do it like this. I find it easier to kind of shift around the neck when you're using your pinky for the higher notes. Puts the hand in a better position to be able to move it around. All right, so what I'm doing here, he'll kind of have times in the song where he hits these notes, all the that. And other times where he's kind of sliding. Kind of like that, you'll hear an obvious slide in there. But we can start here with this main riff. Hit that chord a couple times, the power chord at the 7th fret of the A string. And slide down to the 5th fret. So you slide down to that D power chord. And then you start doing the low E hits, kind of little eighth notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then back to the chord, hit that a couple times, slide down 2 more frets to the 3rd fret, that C power chord. And then back to some more low E hits. So it's kind of the same thing, just kind of slid around. Then back up, slide back into 5. Then back up to 7. And then you'll have one guitar that will continue that. So after that second time through playing the chords, we have an octave melody that comes in over it. So where it comes in, it's like this. All right, so that little octave thing, we're going to start the octave here at the 9th fret on the A string. So you'll be playing the 9th fret on the A, and then the octave of that note at the 11th fret on the G. And obviously all other strings are going to be muted. So you're going to be muting that low E with the tip of the index finger, and then the D string with the index finger as well, and then the B and the high E with the index finger. So the index finger's got a lot of muting to do. But that way you can really start digging into those octaves and kind of hitting all the strings. Because he's hitting it, then he's kind of hitting a couple of muted hits there, so you're just kind of lifting out the pressure of those notes. Then up to the 10th fret, then up to the 12th. So And then on this last one, he's gonna play the octave with a different fingering because he's gonna. He's gonna add another note in there. So we're gonna we have the 14th fret there on the A string, 16 on the G, and then you're gonna play the 17 on the B, and then 19 on the high E. So he kind of just picks kind of randomly picks across that note, and then it has a little vibrato bar on it. And while he's playing that chord, the riff continues, starts over again. So then we're at the verse, and the verse is pretty much just like it's kind of a subdued version of that main riff that we started the song with, but there is a little bit of turnaround in it. It looks like this. All right, so that is, you can see I'm kind of palm muting it more when I'm starting it. Kind of picking all the notes, not as much sliding. Other than that, it's the same riff. So the second time, the second ending. So when we get up to that E the second time, there's a couple hits on the low E string, and what we're gonna do is jump down here and play this open G power chord. So that's just gonna be the third fret on the low E. You're gonna be muting the A string with the bottom of that ring finger, middle finger, and then open G and D, third fret on the B, and third fret on the high E. So you play that chord real quick, and then you're gonna hit the F sharp there at the second fret on the low E string, and then jump up here and hit the D power chord twice. So this. So remember, after you get to that E, you get 2 hits on that open E, and that tells you when the G comes in. And then, so that kind of, when we get to that D, we're kind of now in the middle of the riff again. And when he comes back around after this, it's a little bit more aggressive, so it's a little bit less muting going on. It's kind of closer to the intro of the song. So I'm gonna repeat the riff again. Now right here, instead of going up to the E, back again to start kind of going to the pre-chorus riff, the pre-chorus plays the E power chord down here. So that's when we're getting to that part, when we get to the verse after we go to, so. One more time. So this last E, instead of jumping up to the 7th, you're gonna come down here. And then the pre-chorus sounds like this. All right, so that's gonna be the 2nd fret there on the D and the 4th fret on the G. Then the open D string, 2nd fret on the G, 3rd fret on the B. So this. And then you're just gonna hit the C here on the A string of the 3rd fret, just single note by itself. And then we're gonna go to this G inverse inversion chord. So we have the 2nd fret there on the A string, open D, open G, and then the 3rd fret there on the B. Play this. To an A power chord. And back to that D power chord we just did a little bit earlier. And that's the last chord of the pre-chorus that takes us down to a G, which is the beginning of the chorus. So we have this. All right, so that chorus there, we're going to start with that same G, open G power chord. Kind of a big strum across it. And then we go to this E power chord, a little bit different voicing of the E power chord again. It's going to be the open E string, second fret on the A and the D, and then the fourth fret there on the G. So with this. So there's that little melody there. That happens on the G string. That's going to be 4-2, and then back to the 4. So it is. And then we have open A, and then the second fret on the A string. Quick little bass line, basically. Into the C power chord there at the third fret. Same power chord that was in the intro and the main riff of the song. So this. So when we get to that C power chord, you hold that and then go back to that E power chord. And back to that melody. And then we're going to start back over to go to the G to start the whole chorus over. But we're going to do that same little lead-in bass line to it. 0-2 on the low E this time. That leads us back to that G. So all together we have this. From there it's kind of repeat. So now when you get to that C chord, C power chord, then take it up to D, and then slide up to the E at the 7th fret, and hit a couple more times. That's kind of the first chorus is a little bit shorter there. At the end of the song, they're just kind of repeat that. So you'll just see it kind of just consistently repeat there at the end of the song there. All right, so then we go back to the same main riff again with the same octave thing over it with that little ending. So it's the same thing that basically that you hear in the intro is going to happen after that first chorus. Goes back into the same verse, same pre-chorus, same chorus. So coming out of that second chorus, we have the bridge, which will lead us to the solo. So the bridge, real quick, is pretty easy. All right, so it's the same chords that we played for the verse. It's just, you know, it's kind of holding them. So there's that 7th fret power chord, the E power chord, the D at the 5th fret, down to the C, 3rd fret, hold that, and then come back up. Just gotta repeat that. When you get to that E power chord, you get the open E with it as well. And then we get to the solo, which is a killer solo. I'm going to play through it for you real quick, but before I do, just want to let you know, the solo is going to be over the verse riff and the chorus riff. So you'll hear those as well. It's going to start with the playing over the verse, and then the second half of the solo will be over the chorus. So we've already covered those, so nothing to do. there, let's just go through the solo itself. So let me play through the solo, and then I'll show you how to play it note for note. Here we go. All right, so that has got some he's just got the coolest guitar style George Lynch does. So if you don't know a lot of George Lynch's playing, especially my favorite stuff, my favorite George Lynch album, if you just want to check it out if you haven't, is the Wicked Sensation album. It's off the Lynch Mob itself. So so kind of his solo stuff. It's just really, I think it's one of the greatest shred guitar albums in history. It's just the solos on it are just absolutely insane. So check it out. Anyway, let's jump into this solo. So we're gonna. So we're gonna start here at the 11th fret on the G string. You're gonna do kind of a half step bend and release. So it's there at the 11th fret on the G. So half step bend and release. And then you're gonna start picking it. So you're gonna pick it without the bend, and then a half step bend, and then release that bend. And that pull off is gonna be from 11 to 9, and then resolve it to the 10th fret there on the D. So all together. All right, and then we have this. So that's gonna go up to, gonna slide into the 7th on the B, and then play 8 and 10 twice. Then over to the 7th fret on the high E string. Then go back down 10, 8. And then we're gonna have a cool little trill there between 7 and 8. And then back to 8, over to 9 on the G. So we have this. And then we have this next phrase. So that's quickly going to slide into the 12th fret there on the B string, into a half step bend at the 14th fret on the high string. And then you're going to do the same thing here. So without the bend, and then pick it with the pre-bend, half step, then back down, and then release that last one. And this one, instead of just pulling off, he's gonna do this. So a little bit more on it. We're gonna have 12 first, hammer on 14, pull back off to 12, and then over to 13 on the beat. So it is. And then we're gonna end it with this. So that's slide into that 7 on the B again. 8, 10, up to 7 on the high E string. Then play 8, 7 on the B to 9 on the G. Next phrase. So that's a whole step bend at the 17th fret on the high E string. And then what he does, he's doing that little, he takes it down. It's really difficult to get right. So what I'm doing there is I started with a whole step bend. So it's going to sound like the 19th fret. Then I'm going to release it a half step. Yeah, and then back up. Then back down a half step. And back up. So doing that, like when you're not in the, if I'm like I'm doing a start and stop and doing it, it's kind of really hard to keep the feel of it. It's easier to do it in the middle of just playing. So that's what he's doing. He's going up and just releasing the bend a half step. So he's still bent up a half step. Then back up, then back down. And release that last one. And then and he's really just pulling off at the end of the lick, 15 to 14 on both the high E and the B, over to 16 on the G. Sorry, one more time. So that's a tricky lick right there. And then he's gonna go up here to the 19th fret of the high E string and do this. So that's a step and a half bend. So you're gonna be bending that note up to where it sounds like the 22nd fret. And then you're gonna play, kind of hold that bend and then play real quick the 17th fret there on the high E string, and then you're gonna play 15, hammer on 17, pull back off to 15, then over on the B string, 19, 17. All right, and then at the very end here we have this. So that right there is, he's using it for, at least in the video, he's using a 21 fret guitar. So this would be actually easy to go. But I don't think he's doing that. I think he's using a 21 fret guitar. And just like he was before, bending up a step and a half, he's doing that from the 19th fret, I'm sorry, from the 21st fret up to that high E string, and then he's releasing that bend down a whole step to where it comes back down to the D. So you're still at the end of it, when you're resolving that bend, you're still a half step bend. You're still doing a half step bend. So that's kind of tricky as well. So up a step and a half, down to the half step, and then down to the note, so well, it'll just sound like that, the regular D. So he's doing that from the 21st fret, not the 22nd, I believe, and it just kind of matches what he does before, what he does in the video, and the guitar he's playing and everything. So, and then after you've got that note that resolved down to that D, you're going to end it like this. So we have this. You're going to kind of rake across to the 20th fret there on the high E string, then 19. Then 17. Pick that 17 again. Hammer on 19, pull back off, and slide down to 15. Then you're gonna pick that 15 again. Oh, well, you just slid it to it. Now you're gonna pick it. Hammer on 17, pull back up to 15, and slide down to 12. And then you're gonna hear that. On the video, you see him kind of try to do it with his pick, but it's just his finger is what's just going down there. Just down the string there. All right, so that is it for breaking the chains. We're just coming out of the solo. We just have the verse, pre-chorus, and chorus again. And of course, that chorus is just kind of repeated longer than what we did earlier in the song. But nothing new there, same riffs that we learned earlier in the song. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.